Hey, it's your cosmic auntie, and I'd like to invite you to come and sit with me for a while. Let's discuss energy in celebration of the full moon in Gemini coming up. I am sitting down at the table to record this on December 15th. And I realize it's been a while since I have done one of these. I have found the energy in the air lately super intense, and my focus and energy needed to be on my driver's wheel wholly and completely for a little while there. But I just want to let you know that I never once forgot about y'all, because the collective energy was presenting an unfolding storyline that I think you'll find very interesting. So let's start with a little storytelling, because, that's the best way to start anything, really. So the first time I started seeing the beginnings of this story was around when the nodes shifted in the sky. So the moon's nodes shifted from the Sagittarius Gemini axis to the Scorpio Taurus axis. So right now we have the south node in Scorpio and the north node in Taurus. So over the next 18 months, when there's eclipses, they will happen in those two signs, and they have lots to teach us. So I started seeing that image around then, and it started with coming up to a door with a key in my hand and looking into a ornate brass keyhole. And it felt certain. I felt excited. I felt anticipation. I felt relief. I felt knowledgeable and confident about what's on the other side, and that's where I want to go. So I put the key into the keyhole, and it's around the same shape. It's definitely the same size. However, it grinds and it does not click and open the door. And it just started with that. And so sometimes when I receive these messages, I am invited to ask more. And I realized that this was one of those times. So I started asking the energy when it would come into my brain, when I would see that image and feel those sensations. I started asking, well, why doesn't the key fit? And it started to feel frustrating. It started to feel like this is supposed to open, because this is where we're going. This is where I felt like this is supposed to, yes, this is the next step. This is the next door. This key has opened so many other doors. Why isn't it opening this one? And so I did some tarot, and I asked, what needs to happen? Like, why doesn't it open? And the Eight of Pentacles came out. And I meditated on that for a while and opened up myself to receive the next part of this image, because it just felt like there was so much more to say, which there is. So with the Eight of Pentacles, that energy is inviting us into skill building, practice, discipline, action towards our goals, persistence, and honing our expertise and becoming masterful at what it is that we're making, doing, creating, all of that. So the next part of the image was a workbench, and the understanding that I needed to look at the nuanced details of the grooves in the keyhole and the grooves in the key. And from there, I was able to take action and use my skill to carve the detailed grooves, cut away excess metal, and really pay attention to what that keyhole needs in order for it to, and what the key needs to click together and open the door, because that's where we're going. So, or that, that's where in this image, it was like, that's where we're going. That's where I knew I needed to be. And that's where I felt I was already. However, there were some steps that required me to fine tune my tools and myself to really feel ready to step into this next chapter after this door opens. So, all right, I'm at the workbench. I'm looking at the keyhole. I'm looking at the key, and I am doing what is necessary to shape and get this key ready to click into place in this key lock. And after that, I went back to the door, and the finished part of this story is that it just clicked into place, that sound like of unlocking, and the door opened a bit. I don't know what's behind the door, but I do. And I think that when I've leaned into this energy, because it was very clear that it was collective, is that like I feel that a lot of us have really been working on creating certain things in our lives, right? And getting to a certain place. And there's been a lot of ending, there's been a lot of completion, and with completion becomes new beginnings. So like I get the sense that a lot of us have been really, really working on building the lives of our dreams, and doing the work necessary in order to get to those places and to be feeling more at ease in our body and getting to, those places that we want to be. I think I just said that. But yeah, so sometimes we have to go back to the workbench and really reflect and fine tune what's coming with us and what is not, because not every part of the key was kept. There were some parts that needed to be shaved off, and that might not have been for the other doors that you have opened with this key. But this next level is this like whole next level. It feels like, I feel like a lot of us are leveling up because we've been doing really deep work in the shadow and becoming more comfortable in our skin, becoming more aware of our authenticity and more fluid in expressing that and moving within that and being unapologetically us and building things in our lives that both nourish us and others, and really resting, recharging, confronting, radically loving ourselves. And I think what this energy is sharing is that we're leveling up. We're coming into connection with ourselves more, with life, with our direction, our purpose, our passion, and we have our view in a certain way. But what was frustrating about this imagery about the story is that like the more I tried to make that key fit, the more frustrated I got. Like, oh, and it's jarring, and I scratched up the metal, and it felt weird, and it got stuck, and it was like, oh. So sometimes like things get in our way, things come up and thwart the process, and we need to ask why, and we need to wonder and show curiosity and compassion towards it, and really take some, be patient when it comes to exploring what's needed. And so I think like the whole story that I just shared with you is this narrative and experience that I think a lot of us are having right now, where we got to that door, we know exactly where we're going, and we can't get through because there's just some extra things that are coming up. And what we're going to find with the South Node in Scorpio and the North Node in Taurus is that there's going to be deep things that are brought up, and we need to use our skills to receive those things of the deep, right? And there's going to be a definite concoction of sensations and experiences. There's going to be gifts, there's going to be revelations, there's going to be, I heard, monsters of the deep, and we are learning to radically love ourselves. And so with Taurus in the North Node, we're learning how to support ourselves, how to show up for ourselves. We have a toolbox of resources to tune in with ourselves. So Taurus is I have. So what do you have in your toolbox to show up for yourself, to do that fine tuning, to shine yourself up, to, you know, carve that away, to whatever, like this metaphor is, the key is us, really, in short form. The key is us. We are the key. If you think of the Hierophant card, there's always some sort of key, which is sharing with us that we are the tool. We are the key to open up any doors that we want. But sometimes it's not a one size fit all. Sometimes we have to let some things go in order to move forward, right? So even though this key was a certain shape and it opened many doors in the past, the same formula doesn't fit this door, which can be really frightening sometimes when you're like, human beings can be quite comfortable and you know, even in like, growth is uncomfortable even when we want it. So we can't even fit in the same form as we used to, and so we're getting used to this new form, but it's going to unlock many other next levels. Do you know what I mean? So now with this whole Gemini full moon, which is, you know, our duality coming into connection to express who we are, to create, to take action in regards to our shadow and our light side, and to really manifest that, you know, in which we want. So I hope that that has made sense. It took me actually a couple weeks to get all of that information. The first part of it, I, you know, did a tarot reading, and it was like this kind of storyline that was playing in the back of my mind for a really long time. And I know that I'm just the kind of person that I take time to articulate myself. So I hope that it's worth the wait and it resonates in some way. Let's flip these over and see what's going on. Wow. So right away we have the Eight of Pentacles at the center of this reading. I'll show you the card. It is so beautiful. It is insanely beautiful. So we have a wheel here with the moon phases, and, you know, this is something that we're actively skill building right now. We're actively fine tuning and putting in the effort towards the life that we are making for ourselves, that we're building for ourselves. There's this urge to really show up and nurture. Like, again, with the North Node in Taurus, we are going to be really thinking and considering about what creates security and safety for ourselves, and the communities in which we find ourselves in. You know, we're going to be thinking about how we show up to care for ourselves. And when we show up to care for ourselves, we can show up in community as well, you know, in a way that both nourishes us and others. So I get the sense that like a lot of you are really taking action towards just that, building the life of your dreams. And you're definitely like ready for new experiences. However, change is uncomfortable. And I get the sense that there's just like this, like something, there's just something like hanging back, which I'm not quite understanding. It's over here in the corner here. And I think I'm going to have to revisit that because there's this urge to charge into the future. There's this sense that I'm getting from these cards that you really know your voice a lot more, your truth, your perspective, and this need to live a life of ease is what I heard, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Because there's just not. So I don't know why I'm hung up on that. Maybe that's something. Maybe there's something there where you're like, can I even say that? Like, is that allowed? Like, can I just like want like a simple, like gentle life like that? But absolutely, you can absolutely want that. It's like everything is there to show up and start living it. But there's something that's kind of holding you back still. And Spirit wants you to really take the time to reflect on what's ending and what's beginning. Because maybe there is still some fine-tuning of the key that needs to happen in order to unlock that door that you very well have built. You know what I mean? You know what's there. You know where you're wanting to go. You know how you want to feel. You know what your mind feels like. There's a certain confidence that's really coming through this reading that's beautiful. That feels like, like you're building the life that you want. A life that you feel nurtured by, that you feel, that it's delicious. And there's this desire to connect with those like-minded individuals that have a certain similar directional focus that you feel inspired by and they feel inspired by you. Like there's this real thirst for connection here, true and inspired connection. That is only going to inspire you to lay down even more intentions in regards to what it is that you're wanting to bring into your life and build and incorporate. Now, all we have to do is surrender to the change sometimes. We just have to surrender to it because life is all about change. The wheel keeps turning and the wheel is in your blockages. So I know that it can be weird feeling it can be weird feeling when you don't feel like you're the same form and the same like responses or action does not fit this new level you find yourself in. And so it's like really weird. You know, there's been probably so many responses that you've had to, you know, certain things that just you didn't like, that you've changed, and now all of a sudden you have changed. You know what I mean? I hope I'm doing as justice, because the energy is so amazing, and sometimes I find it very, very hard to like put it into words. So I hope that this is resonating or it's making sense in some way. I do want to say that your inner child is really happy. The Ace of Cups here is your inner child. You also have the Ace of Swords in your conscious position. You know, like, you've taken the time to fill up your own cup and to sharpen your mind, and there's a certain confidence that I really feel from this energy that I love. You also have the Queen of Pentacles in your subconscious position, creating a beautiful world, birthing new ideas, humans even, like really like bringing in beauty and life into the world. With the North Node in Taurus, this is a Taurian card, and it's like this fertile, earthy, queen. This is in your subconscious. So it's like, I really feel this need to create a beautiful life, whatever that means to you, right? And you have done some amazing work, and the Justice card in your past position is rewarding you in your skill and in your desire and in your intention to put action towards your goals, to put action towards your intentions. Three of Wands in your future position. Like, you are putting in some groundwork here to really call in what you truly want, and also what you feel deep within you is like how you want to give to the world around you, is what I'm trying to say. Your desire for new experiences and new adventures is something that is very strong right now, and is very much guiding you and propelling you and through this shift and change, even though I can tell like you're uncomfortable. But I think, with this energy, that it is necessary. Sometimes we have to be uncomfortable. It can feel really freaking weird before we break into this next new chapter, right? When we start jostling the key that doesn't fit, it's uncomfortable. The key gets scratched, it gets stuck, it's frustrating, but when we stop and we assess the situation and we tune into what's needed, we can find the answers and move forward in that direction in which we're going. Like, sometimes we can see it, but there's a lot of steps in between in order to get there. So that's what I feel. Again, the advice is the Hermit. Take some time to really reflect on what is ending and what is beginning, right? This whole key thing. You are the key to any door you want to open. But sometimes the locks are different, and the shapes need to change. We need to transform. We need to transmute. We need to fine tune. We need to clear. We need to weed the garden, right? We need to remove some things and say some things are just not coming. But we can do that with love, and we can honor that process, and we can let go. And also practice. because this is a card about practice. You know, if you're thinking about shaping the key to what's needed in the key, the door is like dedication and practice and repetition, right? Think about how much you have to grind the metal in order to get it to like shape, right? So sometimes we need to practice. We need to show up for those boundaries that we've put in. We have to actually do them, right? We have to show ourselves compassion as we're learning, as we're changing, and demonstrate that we are putting in, you know, the work that's needed. And it feels good. Like, I can feel like a lot of you feel on purpose. Like there's a certain purposeful path that you feel confident on right now. Let's do some oracle. However, there's just like some hiccups where it's like you're realizing, oh, I hope that keeps going. Yeah, okay. You're realizing that you've grown and there's a lot of new space to fill out. There's a lot of new, oh, here we go. Guinevere, true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you, which is very interesting. Guinevere, thank you for showing up. This can be, love is so much, right? This can be something like where you're feeling you want to take your relationship to the next level. Again, you have the Two of Wands here in your heart position. Like I do feel like you are calling in your people, like people that you want to connect to, the people that are going to inspire you, that you feel comfortable with, that you know are on a certain directional path as you, that they're their own unique individuals that you can absolutely fall in love with, and vice versa. This could also be a romantic relationship as well. It could be friendships, it can be a certain work kind of communities, community in general. Whatever it is, there is an element of, yeah, putting out like a siren song, you know, a beacon to call in the people that you feel are going to encourage you and drive you in the ways that you want, and also support you in the ways that you want, and enjoy the support and love that you give. So some of you may be calling in friends, some of you may be calling in certain work dynamics, business partners, community connections, or romantic interests. Some of you may be wanting to take your romantic connection to the next level and really putting intention towards growth in the future and creating a beautiful world together. And that goes for any of the connections I mentioned before. But yeah, this also in a greater sense, you know, love, like I have a feeling a lot of you have gone through, you know, of course, some really hard times that have required you to dig deep and find the Excalibur of your being, and only you, right, like Arthur, can pull out the Excalibur. So you have to find it first, and often it's down deep into our shadow, and when we find it, we can pull out our sword of truth, and therefore continue to cut brambles away in order to clear paths in our shadow, and take the time to show up for ourselves in that regard, bring our light into those places. And through that, what is truly meaningful to us is often revealed. And I feel like a lot of you know what's truly meaningful to you and how you'd like to show up in the world in regards to that, in regards to your love, capital L, and how you want to share your love with the world, and how your love fills you up, and how your love feels, because love is source, you know, like divine energy, it's life, and we all have our own vibration that is of the larger vibration. And the closer we get to love, the more authentic we feel. And that's really beautiful. So let's read about Guinevere. Speaking of Arthur. Romance is not an outmoded concept, far from it. Romance is the time-honored precept of merging with the divine as it's manifest within another human being. Romance is also playfulness, which heralds springtime, flowers, and new life. You needn't be in a partnership to evoke romance, however. You can manifest it for yourself through laughter, surrounding yourself with beauty, and indulging in luxurious treats. Romance is the life force of the universe and is a worthwhile goal indeed. Yes, romancing yourself, really, you know, bringing in delightful things, simple things to excite your senses and your feeling of security and well-being in your body. And yeah, romance is the life force of the universe. So how are you romancing life? How are you letting life romance you? And then how are you stepping forward in your like earthly life in regards to these revelations that you're having, and these co-creations with life? Because like I think a lot of you are like really working with creator right now, right? Because we are creator expressed, right? We're life experiencing itself. We are creator experiencing itself. So what do we want to create? Like, you know, what have you created? And what do you want to create in the future? And what's not coming with you right now? Because obviously there's something here that is requiring us to take a step back and fine tune so that we can get to the next level that we have worked so hard to get to. So I'm going to also use the Earthcraft guidance. So let's see what's coming up. What's coming up collectively for the full moon in Gemini. For this full moon, right? Like, release what you need to release. Think about what has come to fruition. Think about the door that you have reached and what's on the other side, and what dedicative practice you have taken with yourself to prepare yourself for this next chapter. It's okay to surrender to the change. It's okay to feel uncomfortable as it shifts, like you know. So that's too many. Let's see. It's okay to feel comfortable. That's part of the process, even. To lean into your uncomfort, to really, you know, fine tune. I keep saying that. And take the time to honor that. Take the time. Because the Hermit is all about reflection and witnessing what has come to be and what path is unfolding next. All right, Earthcraft. What do we have for the full moon in Gemini? It's like, I already told you. Ceremony. Whoop. So maybe some of you will want to create your own ceremony. Maybe there's ceremonies that you feel called to within your culture, within your religion, within your spiritual practice, or with yourself personally. This can be helpful when it comes to releasing, letting go, and opening up to what's to become. Because like when you look at the Hermit is tuning into the inner light as well, and finding your inner light and putting a piece of it in your lantern to light your path moving forward. Because we are all the lights at the end of our own tunnels. Because again, we are the key to open up any door that we want. So the more that we look at ourselves as like a tool of connection, as a vessel, we are these like energetic beings with unique expressions and energies in this organic earthly vessel, and we can create things, you know, in so many different ways. So, you know, it's pretty remarkable. So ceremony can be a really wonderful way to honor the changes and the shifts that are occurring, the ones that are kind of a bit shocking and surprising, and also the ones that we have been initiating ourselves. So let's see what this has to say, because it's one of my newer decks. The ceremony card guides you to prioritize moments of sacredness. You may be rushing a goal or taking shortcuts in an effort to see results, only to find yourself taking one step forward and two steps back. Having a ceremonial practice is a way of slowing down and allowing proper time for your magic to brew. Take some time to connect with your goals in a sacred way by adding small elements of ceremony into your life, by lighting candles while doing research on a project, dedicating a specific journal where you write details for your plan, or making a special tea blend to drink solely as you work on a goal. So there's so many ways to practice ceremony. Like I said, these can be personal ceremonies with yourself, ceremonies in community, ceremonies within your culture, within your religion, within your family, however that shows up for you and how you feel called to participate in that. Like it can be, you know, even just making a special tea when you sit down to journal or something like that. This can bring a lot of, this can ground us. Ceremony grounds us and creates a space that is supportive and encouraging and enlightening, where we can practice gratitude, where we can connect, where we can really remember our spiritual and earthly connection and how they're really the same thing. There's cosmic energy, there's earthly energy, and it's all wrapped up in this wild, beautiful thing called life. So I feel like that is the moment to end this reading. I hope that you have a wonderful time at the full moon in Gemini. This is a time where you're coming home and coming into more connection with yourself and remembering your magic and your power. And all of this is harnessing your shadow and your light into this amalgamation of power, of beingness that you bring into every experience that you have, and that you create, and all of that stuff. So I feel very much excited. I feel like a lot of things that you'll express, whether it's just to yourself or to an audience or to your family, there's just going to be a certain clicking into place. Release what needs to go. Keep fine-tuning that key, baby, and you know that you're going to open that door and you're going to be ready for this fresh new chapter, because look, so much is coming to an end here. So much has come to completion. And sometimes, like, when we're working hard on a goal and it like comes to be, it can be a bit bizarre when you're looking into the future when you've accomplished this goal. But now we need to catch up and fine-tune the tools so that we can really click into place this next chapter. Anyway, love from me and my Christmas cactus. I have missed you so much. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this was interesting. And I will see you at the new moon. I am also thinking about bringing back the monthly sign readings. I've made some more space in my life, and I really want to fill it up with my tarot and my energy chats with all of you, because you inspire me. And thank you so much for being out there, being you, doing things, learning, loving, unlearning, healing, all of it. Like, I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. I think, again, I will see you before that, but we will see. Let me know if you want to hear more about the monthly sign readings, because I think a lot of people miss them. I miss them, but let me know if that's something that you'll want. I love you.